At the beginning of the film, Claude, a high school student, is seen observing a couple in their bedroom. To his shock, the couple turns out to be his friend's parents, who had always treated him like their own son. The story then transitions into a flashback from a few days earlier. Germain, a man in his late 40s, is a French teacher at a local high school. As he grades student assignments, his wife, Jean, questions why he's giving low marks. Germain explains that the essays are lacking depth, except for one, written by Claude Garcia. In this essay, Claude shares his experiences tutoring Rafa Arto, where he also meets Rafa's mother, Esther Arto. He is immediately drawn to her, admiring her beauty. During tutoring sessions, Claude finds himself more interested in Esther than in his work with Rafa. Germain recognizes Claude's writing talent and believes he has a bright future ahead. The following day, Germain speaks with Claude about his essay, warning him that Rafa would be upset if he ever learned about his feelings for Esther. Claude, however, remains focused on his writing and hands Germain another assignment. Germain discusses it with John, who finds the content troubling, but Germain believes it's a normal part of growing up and appreciates Claude's ability to write about these feelings so honestly. Curious about Claude's background, Germain learns that Claude's family has faced financial difficulties, causing them to move often. Wanting to nurture Claude's talent, Germain gives him books to help improve his writing. In the next part of the assignment, Claude writes about a visit to Rafa's house, where he notes Esther's appreciation for his tutoring. Germain and Jean find the story unsettling but still engaging. Claude then writes about overhearing Rafa's parents arguing, with Esther considering replacing him as a tutor. In an effort to keep his position, Claude asks Germain to obtain a copy of the upcoming math exam, threatening to stop writing if Germain refuses. Torn between his moral compass and helping Claude, Germain ultimately gives in and provides the exam. Claude uses it to help Rafa pass, ensuring his continued access to their home. Esther, grateful, gently touches Claude's cheek, which he interprets as encouragement. One day, while Rafa and his father are out, Claude visits the house, claiming he left a book behind. Esther invites him in and looks for it, while Claude observes her closely. He makes up a story about his mother owning similar earrings to Esther's and says she passed away recently, hoping to evoke sympathy. Esther reassures him, offering her support and suggesting he view her as a mother figure. They share a drink and continue talking, further deepening Claude's fixation on her. Germain and Jean read the next part of Claude's assignment, where he writes about spending the night at Rafa's house due to a late tutoring session. To their surprise, Rafa kisses Claude, revealing his feelings for him. That night, Claude sneaks into Esther's bedroom and watches her sleep, imagining what it would be like to be with her. Jean grows more concerned about Claude's increasing obsession, but Germain brushes it off, believing it's typical for teenagers to have such thoughts. As the days pass, Claude becomes even closer to Esther. After an argument with her husband, she finds a letter from Claude expressing his love. While reading it, she imagines Germain encouraging her to accept Claude's feelings. Overwhelmed, she kisses Claude passionately in the kitchen and they move to the couch, only to be interrupted by Rafa. Shocked and heartbroken, Rafa rushes to his room, where he attempts to take his own life. Germain is devastated when he reads this part of the story. The next morning, he checks on Rafa and learns that he's not dead, just sick. Relieved yet shaken, Germain demands that Claude stop writing, fearing the potential consequences of his fantasies. Claude refuses, and after a heated argument, he discards his assignment in the trash. Despite his decision, Germain retrieves the pages and continues reading. In the final part, Claude writes about Rafa's father being comforted when Esther tells him she's pregnant. Meanwhile, Rafa informs Claude that he will no longer be tutoring him, signaling the end of Claude's access to their home. Later, Germain finds Claude injured after a fight with Rafa. Claude admits that Rafa found out about everything and beat him. He also shares that he met Esther in the park to try and convince her to leave with him, but she rejected him. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to like and subscribe. What do you think about the complicated relationship between Claude and Esther? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.